Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we're doing 1990s Lionheart.
Lionheart! You know what the funniest thing about that scene is to me?
What's that?
Is nobody in the crowd is like, fuck yeah, they're just all really silent. I wish they would have let that scene play out where he screams, Lionheart! And then just kind of looks around like, no, nobody?
Lionheart! King of the jungle!
Before we get started, if you want to reach out, follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_idol. And if you want to follow the show, you could follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at Kiss the Reviews. Let's get into the cast of 1990's Lionheart. This film stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Lyon, Harrison Page as Joshua, Deborah Rennard as Cynthia, Lisa Pelikan as Helene, Brian Thompson as Russell, and Ashley Johnson as Nicole. First things first, okay? So as I'm putting like the cast together and I do all that before I even watch it. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the director and the writers, and there's multiple writers on this. And obviously Jean-Claude Van Damme gets another writing credit for Lionheart.
Yeah, you know what his idea was? Hey guys, how about he has a brother?
We're talking about my brother.
Jesus
Exactly.
Christ. How many fucking times are we going to go to the brother with you?
That was
what
as soon
happened,
as I saw,
JCVD?
As soon as I saw they had a writing credit, my mind got transported into the writer's room, and he's like, I have a brother. And he died. I'm like, oh, at least he dies in this one. At least he's not like fighting for his honor and like... what if I win, he'll walk again, or whatever the hell the other movies have. Like, at least in this one, it's like, you had a brother for about 5 seconds. He's dead. And now you have to fight to help his family survive, because apparently, and we'll jump right into this one, because his brother is in the opening of this, and he's buying drugs from some drug dealer, and they do some really weird, I'm gonna squat and buy drugs. I'm not the most professional like drug buyer or drug dealer. Like, I don't know how the game works. Who's like squatting down like they're a catcher for the Mets, and they're just like, okay, let me try the drugs here close to the ground. That
Asian
was just
gangs.
it was just ridiculous. And you have the awesome, like, I know it was 1990, but we had some spillover from the 80s. The 80s cup runneth over with the saxophone music to start this movie.
Well, let me tell you something. You had to chill. You had to chill somebody the fuck out, because you lit this dude on fire, alive. You tried to cremate homeboy alive. Just shoot him.
I've seen a bunch of movies. I've lived in a bunch of not great neighborhoods. And so I've seen drug deals go bad. The cops pull up, somebody does something. Oh, you shouldn't in, and bang, bang, shoot, shoot. I have literally, this is the first time ever I've seen a drug deal gone bad, and he gives them sugar and then they light him on fire. What did he do to this drug dealer that they were like, you know what? We're going to give him a bag of sugar and we're going to light this bitch on fire.
Yeah. You know what he did? He was French. He colonized Vietnam, and this is an Asian gang, as we established, because they're squatters. So it makes total sense. Like, this is for Vietnam. I won't do an accent, but like, this is for Vietnam, and then they're like going to get him back, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm on fire!
Now I'm on fire! I am running around into a brick wall. I can't see anything." We cut from this scene to the hospital, because he gets rushed to the hospital where his wife and daughter are waiting. And he's dying, and he yells out, Lyon! And that's his brother's name. And then we cut to North African desert, apparently. We see Lyon, and he's working in the desert for the French Foreign Legion, and he gets this letter about his brother from his sister-in-law. He gets into an argument with his CO over not being told that his brother's wife called 3 weeks earlier to let him know that his brother died. And the CO decides to put Lyon in a hot box outside in the desert. Corey's life lessons.
Hi, Germans. Uncle Corey here. Stop living up to the stereotype. His CO is German, and he is a fucking piece of shit. And then he tries to throw one of his soldiers into a hotbox like this is fucking Django. Chill the fuck out, Mangala. Ain't nobody got time for your bullshit. Exactly. The dude's brother died, and you're like, you know what the cure is for that? Hotbox discipline, bitch. He even says, like, I don't have time for this shiza. Dude, why are you such a dick? Just because you're German?
Well,
calm down.
And he tells him, like, when you join the Foreign Legion, you, like, gave up your whole family and, like...
You gave up your family when you joined the Legion.
Dude, he didn't sign up for Scientology. He signed up for the fucking Foreign Legion. He's not supposed to just disavow his whole family. Like,
yeah, like you he didn't find Xenu. He pledged to defend a colonized North Africa. Yes. I think we can all calm down here about our responsibilities.
Exactly. And by the way, there's been this strange car ever since I made that joke 3 seconds ago with binoculars outside my window. And I'm very uncomfortable.
What's that red dot on your forehead, bro?
So while being put into said hotbox, he beats the shit out of the 3 guards that are putting him in there and escapes in a Jeep, and he makes it to a ship and then heads to New York City.
I'll give Jean-Claude this. This is one of the few times where he doesn't lose fights, because that's obviously written into his contract like a bitch.
Yeah.
But he gets his ass kicked along the way. He's not just like, look at me do the splits and showing off how badass he is. Like, he's getting fucked up by some of these guys. And the fights are much better, if even very tragically slow. Like, this first fight is so slow.
Dude, this fight
like,
is...
am I in the right spot? I'm holding like fucking, I'm Terry Tate office linebacker. Kick me.
The pain train is coming! It's in there! Please don't hurt me! Please don't hurt me!
So when you said, like, oh, the fights are better, blah, 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 and I was like, I don't know what you saw, but this fight, I call bullshit. There's the one dude in the back who literally is doing exactly what you said. He's just standing there. If this is real life, he takes his little, like, billy club and he goes boink on the head, and Jean-Claude is in the goddamn hotbox for the next 3 months.
Yeah, this was the mistake of trying to make your guys, why they are able to fight Jean-Claude Van Damme, they're way too able to take a punch from him. They needed to be on the ground for a few more seconds to make up for the short field of camera view you have.
Yeah.
In order to make this work. Because it looked ridiculous. And this is why you use slow-mo. Because slow-mo would have made it look way better.
Listen,
but you just let him run it live.
Slow-mo makes everything look way better.
Mm-hmm. You should see how I fuck on my sex tapes.
Since his brother's wife and daughter live in LA and he has no money, he enters into a paid under the bridge fight club kind of situation, and he wins the first fight easily. Joshua, who runs the fight ring, takes him to meet Cynthia, who runs an altogether higher class of underground fight club with higher stakes and yada yada. And
dude, they wear leather pants and leather vests in this fight club. I will not hear you disrespect this entire organization like that. This is high class. He's wearing a leather vest with no shirt. That is high class, dude. Come on.
Sure. And apparently, the people that bet on these fights, my favorite about this whole movie is the high class, high stakes fight club. And yes, I am using air quotes. The high stakes, high class fight club venues are the best. Parking garage. The last one's on a goddamn tented off tennis court. So their venues are awesome. But apparently the dudes from Wall Street, they took all the extras from Wall Street and then just put them in this movie for this fight. And it's just them betting. And there's always one guy that looks like he's a member of Whitesnake that just got kicked out. It's like all these yuppies, and then one dude with massively long black hair, like, yeah, let's fight.
Every time.
It's great.
In a suit that's way too, like he borrowed his dad's suit to come to this event. And probably his busted ass Mercedes, because there were a lot of broke ass Mercedes in that fucking circle.
They bought that at the fucking pay here lot.
Exactly. I have to do this.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, ladies. Uncle Corey here. It's cool that you've been invited to the high-class, high-end fight club thing with your fucking douchebag boyfriend who borrowed dad's broke-ass Mercedes. I know you want to fit in, but for the love of Christ, do not lick somebody else's blood off of your person. That's disgusting. If you get blood splattered on you from a fight, immediately seek medical attention to be washed off by a professional.
Yes.
This guy's a fighter in an underground bare-knuckle fighting ring. He's definitely got HIV.
In 1990.
It's not full-blown AIDS, maybe, but he's got HIV.
It's close.
Do not lick that shit off of you like it's fucking sexy. That's disgusting.
That's gross. That's gross. He meets Cynthia here, and she gives Lyon the name Lionheart. And he fights Sonny, wins in about 3 seconds with a dick punch, which is awesome. And he has this discussion with Cynthia afterwards, and she wants him to fight more in New York City. He says no because he's got to go to LA because, oh, my brother. And by the way, I'm not even going to call her Cynthia for the rest of this show. I'm just going to call her Material Girl because she looks like an extra from Madonna's fucking video. The entire show with the big like collars, like the Flash Gordon Ming kind of collars on her giant ass gaudy dresses that she wears. She's terrible.
In fairness to her, she is living in a material world.
She is.
You were right.
There was this thing in the 90s, and I don't know what it was, where you would introduce a female character with an ass shot. Like, I know we meet Cynthia, but like, you know, Leon wakes up in his hotel room and Cynthia's working out with her fucking thong leotard, because that's how people work out.
Yes.
Stop using flat ass women to introduce this way, because it doesn't work. And if you're going to be a white woman and you're asked to be introduced this way, I don't know her name. I only know her as the woman from Taking Care of Business, which was a Jim Belushi vehicle in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. But they do the same with her. If you're a white woman and you're asked to be introduced by your ass, be her.
Yes.
Because that shot is fucking amazing. I go to bed dreaming about that still.
Just do some squats or something.
This was very underwhelming, Cynthia.
It really was.
And
it
also,
really was. Corey's life lessons.
Hi guys, Uncle Corey here. If you have a Cynthia that's like, let's just fuck. This is a best case scenario, because let me tell you, you're not marriage material to her either.
Yeah.
She just wants to get dick down. So do it.
No, she's still banging the dude from Cobra, like off to the side. Like that's what she's doing here. She's trying to get as much D as possible throughout this whole movie.
That guy is literally in my nightmares.
He really is. And they tried to dress him up in a suit and everything in this one, and it doesn't work.
No, dude.
He's still that like greasy haired, banging axes together. He will always be that guy to me.
Yeah, he looks like the fucking deformed dude from 300.
Leon gets to LA, but he's too late and his brother's dead. And after some sad walking music, Joshua then helps Leon find his niece and sister-in-law Helene. Even though he has the address written down, it's not like he was trying to hire a PI to find these people. He literally has the address, and he was like, "Can you help me find them?"
Yeah, it's called the White Pages, shit ass. Fucking
Buy a
look it
map.
up.
Buy a map, stupid. But he gets to the apartment, right? And she lives in like the worst area of LA, apparently. And the visit does not go well at all.
Well, no, dude, she's stressed out. Her husband just got burned up, and she had to fucking see him be alive for a couple days. Like the dude at the beginning of Usual Suspects. Fucking disgusting. To have that image ingrained into your head. And then your kid is clearly learning disabled because she fucking just happens to meet in the fucking LA hood, another Frenchman, and never brings up the fact that her dad was French. And this is a little peculiar. Another Frenchman just happens to show up at my apartment building a week after my dad died. And I know he had a brother named Lyon. I wonder what this could be. No, she's fucking moron and just throwing her bouncy ball down a fucking flight of stairs and chasing it. Go get a hoop and a stick, hobo.
Lyon finally leaves after she threatens to call the cops when he tries to give her money for her bills. And Joshua then finds him and JCVD a place to stay at Material Girl's house, hotel, apartment, whatever the hell it is. And this is the next morning when we see that Cynthia's working out and trying to seduce him. And of course, we get the JCVD ass shot, which leads into Cynthia taking him to high-end stores and buying him new clothes and apparently jerking him off in the dressing room.
Again, just let it happen.
He's fighting this all the to the end. He's like, yeah. And listen, I know she's got a flat ass. That's fine. But I mean, she's giving you a pee-pee touch, just like you said. Just let it happen. It's fine. Like, she's not like, do you want to marry me? And by the way, worse things can happen. You could meet worse people. Like, at least you'll be taken care of and you'll be rich. Like,
yeah, I mean, what if you were auditioning for Miramax in the 90s?
Absolutely.
A lot worse things could happen.
That's a fucking nightmare. JCVD then starts stalking Helen and his niece, and they're so poor. They move into this Hispanic neighborhood, and I think literally this is cultural appropriation. I'm just going to throw it out there because she lives in an all Hispanic neighborhood. She works in the factory, organizing tomatoes or some shit with all the other Hispanic people. She's literally white womaning the shit out of this. She was just like, I'm Hispanic now.
You know what this tomato factory needs is a Starbucks and a Sephora.
A few moments later. Eventually.
It's not even like a white woman. It is the whitest woman.
Yes.
It is. She's a vampire. I'm just going to say it. She's a vampire living in LA. That's what she is, working at a dark-ass tomato factory.
Oh my gosh, she just came off the set of Once Bitten with Jim Carrey, and now she's working in a tomato factory. So
he's like, did you know Lauren Hutton was really nice? And they're like, no hablo inglés.
So after this, Lyon finally agrees to start fighting in LA, but tells Cynthia that he wants to set up an account with a fake name to put his money in. And
it's the best too.
Like,
I want a fake name. Ooh, for what? A checking account. Just go to the bank and open a checking account, shithead. Who cares?
Well, and his whole plan, like, just send a money order to the lady. Like, he goes to a lot of work here, and he takes all his winnings, he puts it in this bank account under a fake name. Is it a fake business name? Because he sends he's like, hey, Joshua, put on this fucking suit I bought you and go to my sister-in-law's house and pretend that you're from the life insurance agency, and you're just giving her checks every month.
That's how you know this part was not originally written for a white lady. Because a black dude with that limp showed up at your fucking door and you're just like, yeah, come on in. This is my daughter. Fuck no. A real white lady is slamming that door closed and calling the cops immediately.
let's face facts. I know a lot of things have changed from the 90s to 2023, but if anybody knocks on my door, I don't care who you are. I'm not answering. I'm not expecting guests. She is not opening the door though. In the neighborhood she lives in, with her being as translucent as she is, that door is like quadruple locked. She's never opening the door.
No, dude. If she opens
there.
that door and sunlight from the lobby hit her, she's turning to dust. There's no fucking way she would take that chance.
So we get to the first fight night, and he has to fight Seamus, apparently, from The Simpsons. And it goes back and forth, but he eventually wins.
And can you tell me why this guy is fighting? Like, put up your dukes.
Dude, he's fighting like 30s style boxing.
Like, for real. Just because you're wearing a kilt and have a mustache doesn't mean you got to fight like you're Jack Johnson. It's the 90s. Fight like a 90s person.
Yeah,
Not like you're 90 years old, you fucking asshole.
Dude,
this must have been the Highlander. He's in town hunting the vampire. That's what's going down.
And by the way, here, and I know we've made fun of the cars that show up at some of these fights and whatnot, but like, if you're rich, high stakes, yada yada, Fight Club, right? Why are you driving your cars and that's the ring? Your bumper is the ring. Those are the ropes.
Yeah.
They're putting each other through the fucking front windshield. Like, the insurance claims after these fights are through the roof. Like, at what point is the insurance company going, I think there's a Fight Club because all of these rich pricks have all of their windows busted out in the same night.
What are you talking about, dude? Mr. Farmer is literally in the fucking crowd with one of his cars watching this shit. He's like, I got you boys covered. Farmer's Insurance. Hit me up.
Oh, yeah. After this, we then get more fighting. This time, JCVD fights Kip Winger on a racquetball court, and he kicks his ass. And then the next day, after checking up on his niece, JCVD gets spotted by some dudes from the Foreign Legion, and they try to chase him down, but they lose him. And then we cut back to more fighting, and this time wearing only singlets and fighting in an empty swimming pool. And after the win, Joshua gets questioned by the Material Girl about Lyon and his dealings with Helene, and she's getting a little too, and she's like, are they banging? Are they banging? What's going on? Is he banging a poor? Like, I'm very upset about this whole situation.
She is pissed.
She's
for no reason. She's
not happy.
Pissed.
And again, I don't mean to pick on her, and I know you already mentioned, flat ass. I couldn't get over, like, I don't know if she applied her lipstick or the makeup people applied it. I don't know, not all the way covering her lips, but her lips in this scene especially, they pop because she's wearing that fucking like hooker red lipstick.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like paper thin. And she's like, what's going on with who's this Helen chick? And why is JCVD banging a porn? I'm like, I can't take my eyes off your mouth. Your lips are so thin. I had to bring it up. It was super distracting.
I have to go back a second while we're talking about super distracting things.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, little white girls living in the hood. Uncle Corey here. If you get a new bike, stop rolling around going, hey, everybody, look at my new bike. One, you live in a poor neighborhood. Nobody else is getting a new bike, you fucking bitch. Stop fucking flaunting your shit. And number two, that's how people get their shit stolen.
Yep, 100%.
And it's not going to be by one of the kids. One of the adults is going to take your shit and pawn that motherfucker off. You're going to get stabbed by a meth head and have your fucking bike stolen. Look around your neighborhood.
100%. Meth people will steal you. They will gank your shit. Like, that's what's happening next.
For real. Anything.
JCVD here then gets tracked by the Frenchies again. They tell him that they're there to take him back to North Africa for a court-martial. And then he gets away after they fight for a little bit, and he goes to see Helen that night at her apartment. He tells her that her and her daughter need to leave their apartment ASAP, and he stays with them and then, like, just becomes part of the family. All of a sudden, like she wants nothing to do with them, and then he was like, "I put you in danger," and she's like, "Cool, welcome to the family. You're just like your brother."
And here's the other thing: she's not in danger. He's in danger.
Yes.
The easy way to solve this is to stop going around them. That's it.
Yep.
They don't want anything to do with the kid or the fucking vampire mom. Because if they did, when you ran away, they would have just grabbed the kid and been like, yeah, we got your half vampire niece, bitch. Come and get her and turn yourself in, or we're going to fucking, ice her out or send her to the hot box or whatever the fuck. French Foreign Legion, German corporal punishment, having Iranian/Persians coming out to hunt them down. Like, I don't even know what the fuck is happening at this point. But point being, she's not in danger. And like you said, she's like, oh yeah, they're chasing you. We all better leave.
Yeah.
Why? Because Joshua came in and is like, hey man, he's giving you money.
You were right.
The whole plan from the life insurance thing to this, it was so, I don't know, sloppily written.
Yes.
It just, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. We then cut back here to Cynthia, who is working with the two Frenchies now, and she tells them that they have a fight scheduled with Attila, and they can come to the fight and watch, and then arrest JCVD after he loses to this monster of a man. He's got the big mutton chops. He's like a slightly smaller version of Andre the Giant.
Yeah, exactly.
He brought Andre the Giant vibes to this movie.
100%. And you want to talk about cultural appropriation? He was not Mongolian.
I'm sure.
Then he should not have been named Attila. That's all I'm saying.
We get to the day of the fight, right? And JCVD tells Joshua that he took out all of my money from the bank, and I put a bet on myself to win. He also tells Joshua that he is family, and he'll take him away from this life if he wins. Like, I'm pretty sure Joshua was originally written as a woman, because JCVD talks to him like that a lot. Like, he's like, I'm going to take you away from this life. It's dirty. You should not be here. I'm going to make you a nice place to live with me. And
motherfucker, I'm a grown ass man. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm going to take you away from this shitty business.
So we get to the final fight. It's in this tented off tennis court, which is now probably a pickleball court. And it goes as expected. JCVD gets off to a fast start. Then Attila hurts JCVD. He's down, and Joshua tells him to stay down and lose because you don't want to have a limp like me. JCVD refuses, and the fight goes on. And then after getting beat up some more, Joshua tells JCVD that he bet on Attila, and if he stays down, he'll split the winnings with him 50-50.
Which, to me, with a broken rib, I'm just like, dope. I'm out.
100%.
I'm pulling a Sonny Liston all the way.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that Joshua has more money to put on the fight than JCVD does. The money doesn't go like the fighter gets the most and then everybody else. It's typically the other way around.
Well, and JCVD's been giving the majority of his winnings to Helene.
Yes.
So when he's like, I have a significant amount of money I put down on myself, I'm going to get you out of this. If I'm Joshua, I'm like, dude, I'll get myself out. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm what,
betting.
$20 you got left?
Yeah, I'm betting against you, bitch.
Yeah, I'm good.
You better stay the fuck down.
You see this? It's called a fucking roll, pussy. I'm good.
JCVD here then gets up, proceeds to kick the shit out of Attila. He wins the fight. The two Frenchies then take the injured JCVD to take him back for his trial. And as they leave, Joshua gives him some last words. They hug. And then Cynthia storms off because she bet against JCVD. And the house security brings her back to pay her unsecured marker. And now she's apparently a poor because of one fight.
Everybody allegedly hated her guts the whole time.
Apparently.
Like, ha 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 ha, we got her. Back to dicks only. Get out of here, woman.
That's exactly what happened. The rich white dudes that win the bet at the end of this are the happiest people on the face of the earth. I've never seen smiles like that before.
No.
But I don't know. Here's the other thing with the two Frenchies that are taking them back. They're like these hitmen. You know, they're in the apartment across from Helen. They got the binoculars and they're looking down and they're chasing him down and trying to get him back to blah, blah, blah. And then they get to the end and they're like, oh, you fought very well. I'm going to be nuts. They let him hug Joshua, hug it out, have a conversation. Then they take him here back to Helen's like house, apartment, whatever the hell. So they can hug it out there and do that. And then he hops in the car. They take him like 3 blocks down the road. And then they stop and they're like, haha, you thought we were going to take you back to the desert. Go back to your family. And he just runs down okay, you're nice enough to like not take him in for the court martial. Cool, fine, don't care. But you're not going to drive him back around the block back to the house.
He has a broken rib, dude.
He just got his ass kicked. He can barely walk and you're making him jog back to Helen's house.
So dumb.
But the movie ends as, you know, Helen and her daughter and Joshua, they all hug it out and then we get credits. I don't know what your thoughts are about this movie. And again, I know we make fun of these movies and whatever. And I love JCVD movies for the action. This, for me, and a lot of people, I'm going to be contrary. A lot of people really love this movie. I actually talked to a couple of people about this, like friends of mine, and they're like, oh, Lionheart, hands down, best JCVD movie. And then I watch it because I haven't seen it in a long time. And I was like, this is terrible. Like, I didn't like, I enjoyed it because just I enjoy JCVD and fighting and all that stuff. But all the other shit outside of JCVD was just fucking ridiculous.
You were right.
How best to put this? Newsflash, asshole! They're all terrible.
Newsflash, asshole!
They
100%.
are all bad, but there is something about this movie that I do like, and this makes it one of my favorite of his movies. And I don't know if it's because he gets beat up a little bit more and he's not quite the action hero. I don't know if the whole thing is so comic booky that the other fighters make it more interesting because they're all weird and the locations are weird.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, got that kind of different element to it. I honestly can't put my finger on it. That what makes this one of my favorite, but like, I would take this over Maximum Risk. I would take this over almost anything other than probably Universal Soldier.
I was going to say Universal Soldier, out of all of his movies, is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
But with that said, you know, obviously, like you said, they're all terrible. But some of them hold a special place in my heart. And it could be the age I was when I saw them. Because I know when I was younger, I loved all these movies. And now I'm watching them as basically an old man. And I'm like, ooh, these are not good movies. Like,
no, the last one I'm holding out hope for is when we review Nowhere to Run with Roseanne Arquette.
Yeah.
And one of the little Culkin kids.
Yeah.
I think that story was probably a little bit better and more down to earth than this, or obviously a Universal Soldier. But as it stands now with the movies we have reviewed, Universal Soldier's 1, this is 2. And the rest are just there.
I don't know, man. I put Bloodsport on top of this. I can't. We can get an argument. You know how I feel about lists. I hate lists, but
sure.
For me, and I know a lot of people love this movie. I couldn't get into it like I did some of these other JCVD movies we've reviewed.
Right. I get that.
So I just
totally see that too. Like I said, I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but there is something about this that, and maybe it's nostalgia, but
It
there's
could
just
be.
something about this that I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
Still,
it could
even
be
this
that.
go around. Does it
could be
stand the
that, too.
test of time? Not really. Not when you have
No.
a fight, like movies like Fight Club. Are
Yeah,
you
exactly.
fucking kidding me?
Exactly.
Like,
Well, and not for nothing, as soon as, because I barely remember this movie, and when the opening scenes came up, and I was like, motherfucking brother. As soon as I saw it was a brother, I think I was out. I think that automatically turned me off of the what happened for the rest of the movie.
he's got to get his writing credit somehow, dude.
A brother. So, but that's all I got. Do you got anything else for this one?
Fuck no.
All right. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1990s Lionheart, brother.